Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another live stream Saturday and a lot of requests for That's Metal tonight, and it certainly would be good weather here in the UK, maybe even a little bit hot to be going around London. But yeah, well, I did do that video actually at the end of the year, so it was cold when I did that, but it would be nice temperatures now. I hope that it's not too hot where you guys are. It's still part of this heat wave that we're having here in the UK. It's not quite as bad, not I don't think in the 30s, but certainly still in the high 20s. So we're just about surviving, but hopefully this whole live stream will survive. It's a little bit of a less eventful start to the last couple of weeks. We had going to the Royal Albert Hall, coming back after that. Then last week I had this air conditioning situation where just water went everywhere, and fortunately the carpet has survived and it was just clear water, so it wasn't stained or anything, and it's just a case of it evaporating, which it definitely did because it gets very warm here just in this room, but it just generally we're just trying to cool down in the UK collectively. But hopefully we can get you guys up on screen and everything has been set up correctly. Fingers crossed. Let's try and get the live chat room on screen. And there it is. We have Neil in there, and Tammy, Charlie, Bob, and Billy, Shawnee, Key, Teresa, Karen, Jennifer, Bev, Patrick, Laura Lee, Dwayne, and Sam about to go through as well. Hello guys, thank you for joining me tonight. There is a vote going on in that live chat room for tonight's cover video. I'm going to mention that early doors tonight because I always forget to do that. It's between Iris. We've actually got a couple of acoustic based cover videos for tonight. Iris and Wanted Dead or Alive. So I believe, yeah, those are both acoustic, and vote for whichever one you want. That's going to be going through for probably the next 30 or 40 minutes, and then whichever one ends up on top and gets the most votes, we'll be having a look at that. Obviously it's my version of that particular song, whichever one's chosen. So let me get the names of my patrons up on screen as well, because they make this possible in the first place. So a huge shout out to you guys at the bottom of the screen. You know who you are, and I always say they are the foundation of the channel and everything that I do, just in general musically. So a huge thank you to them. Their names always go across the bottom of the live streams forever and always. If you guys want to get involved yourselves, head over to patreon.com/Wings of Pegasus. That is the site. So let me get rid of that. Let's see what we're going to be aiming for tonight. The likes goal on the Saturday live streams have just been ridiculous recently, and I think last week we did manage to hit it, but tonight we're at 405. That's what we're going to be aiming for, so every single thumbs up is much appreciated, and it's a huge number, and I think last week was the highest ever. This will be the highest ever again. So let's see. If you can leave a thumbs up as you come through the door, that would be fantastic. It really helps the channel to grow and for these live streams to get out there as well. So let's see where we're at. We are at 180 likes so far on the likeometer, so thank you guys for spiking the likes really early on. We'll see if we can get another little spike going on at almost 10 minutes past midnight. Right, I always say you don't have to donate on these live streams, but if you can't resist, then I always put the donations tab up on screen so that you know where your money goes. But whether you want to do it through the super chat window or through PayPal, it's up to you. But through the super chat window on YouTube, between 35 and 45% goes to YouTube, and through PayPal, between 3 and 5% goes to PayPal. So it's up to you, but you don't have to donate. Just watching is good enough for me. Maybe hitting that thumbs up to possibly get us to a pick roulette next week, because that's what happens when we hit the likes goal. So I just want to keep everything organised for tonight's live stream, which I think I have done because I had a little bit more time to set things up, which was great. So we've got a couple of pictures we're going to be looking at later on. We do have the pick roulette. I will be getting through the donations that came in between the live streams as well. But just to address, I mean, last night's video that I released on Prince of him performing Bambi, and let me mention this, I actually found a way of putting the microphone in, well, in a position where it just gets over my keyboard, which I've got here. I don't mean like typing keyboard, I mean playing keyboard. So it's just high enough to clear that, and I can have it higher up so that when I'm playing guitar, as you would have seen in last night's video, you can actually see what I'm playing, which is definitely an advantage in general, but an advantage for people who are wanting to maybe try and play along or figure out what's going on. And I'm going to try and keep this long story short, but last night's video, I recorded it on Wednesday as a spare video just in case I needed one for the future, for emergencies, and it turned out that I literally needed the video instantly because on Thursday I had well, actually it was Wednesday night that went on for quite a while. I mean, Wednesday was Thursday because I had my internet, it went down on Wednesday night, which meant that I was trying to fix it for probably about an hour. And then once I'd finished that and I had it on the computer, everything was fine, then everything went off in my house on the second floor. I've only got 2 floors, but almost sound like I've got some kind of mansion. But everything went out, so I was in pitch black trying to find my phone to see what happened because a fuse had blown, and anyway, that took me, a very long time to try and sort out. So it meant that at 6:30 in the morning, I managed to figure everything out, and I now had power, but it just so happened that the next day my car was due for a service at 8 a.m. So it meant that I then had to leave pretty much instantly. So yeah, I didn't get any sleep. So Wednesday was Thursday. So that was a bit of a long day. It was a double day, which meant that I was going to have last night off and just not release anything to try and catch up with everything that I've missed out on with the messages, because usually a Thursday for me is an admin day, but because so many things happened, I mean, then taking my car to be serviced was an absolute nightmare as well. So everything just seemed to have happened in one day on Thursday or Wednesday going into Thursday. So I think I'm pretty much still catching up on sleep. Just every now and again I might doze off, but I think that it's just my body catching up on it. So yeah, last night I wasn't going to release anything, but I tried to do a YouTube Shorts video, which I did. I uploaded it, but then accidentally released my video that I was going to release tomorrow night on Prince last night. So that was it just meant that last night I was busy doing messages and emails as well. So it means that tomorrow night I'll probably, I don't know, release something or do something that's a little bit lighter workload wise so that I can catch up on things. But yeah, it's all been kicking off. So fingers crossed things will start to go a little bit more smoothly over the next few days, but I will be able to catch up hopefully on Monday as well. If I can just get everything done this weekend, then Monday can definitely just be an admin day and maybe a bit of a catching up with sleep day. But yeah, I've been keeping you guys in the loop over on Patreon. As you guys will know, the updates that I've been writing on there that are very almost like novels, so apologies for that, but there's just so many things going on that I had to try and explain them all in one post. That pretty much it feels like about a year's worth of things that would usually go wrong. Maybe you get it 2 or 3 times a year. It just all happened in one day. So yeah, but we are over it now, onwards and upwards. So we have everything, I believe, on screen. I just want to address the donations that did come in before we went live. So thank you guys for these. And it was Orlando who donated $2 in there and said, "Spike the likes, back me up, Paul." So thank you for that, Orlando. And indeed, Paul has backed up Orlando with a $2 donation saying, "Spike the likes, all y'all," backing up Orlando with a thumbs up. So thank you for that, Paul. And Jennifer has donated $8 as well. So thank you for that, Jennifer. And the message is, Phil, as I understand it, a lot of drummers use a signature beat intro into songs. Is this taught, or do they just do what is comfortable? So thank you for that. And I'm much more a guitarist than a drummer, but I think it pretty much falls within the brackets of when you're learning to play an instrument. Obviously, I mean, you might have lessons, you might not have lessons, you might just pick up things as you go along, but once you get proficient at the instrument, then you have enough ability to extemporize and come up with your own versions of things, runs if it's on guitar, particular lead breaks, or drum fills if you're a drummer. And I think it's probably a similar case that when you play guitar, everybody's different in that everybody has their own style, or I should say techniques, that they like to do, because for some reason the mind and the brain can just figure out things, particular things, very easily, and then it struggles with other things. And this is what I say about lots of people who do covers on YouTube. When they're covering a song, and rather than try and copy the solo exactly as it was by another guitarist, which I always say is the most difficult thing to do technically, to copy somebody else's lines and try and get the expression the same as when they were playing it, that's really, really difficult. It's a lot easier to play something that's totally unrelated to the original and just play your own techniques that you like playing. So that is something that is unique from person to person. I find things, particular things easy to do on the guitar, other things I find more difficult to do on the guitar, and it's just down to your own muscle memory. But I think just the way that you digest information and your fast twitch muscle fibers in your wrist, whether they like a particular movement or not. So probably similar thing with the drums, in that you'll have particular sequences that you feel come easier than trying to do other sequences. And when you then start coming up with your own fills, or in this case, as the question included, about having a signature beat that you might throw in there, that's going to be something that comes naturally to the person. And this is why it's great to always play the instrument just the way that you play it, because then you will be unique, rather than trying to copy everybody else, literally as they are doing it. Because first of all, it won't sound the same, because they're just playing it the way that they play. So if you're trying to copy somebody, it's always going to sound like an imitation, whereas you just want to play the way you play. And that's certainly what I've tried to do on guitar. But it's when you speak to a lot of top level musicians, they're just doing what they do, and if people like it, great. If they don't like it, then it's not the musician's problem, because they're just playing the way that they enjoy playing. And as I've always said, as long as you enjoy playing, that's the most important thing. Don't try to please other people, because it's impossible as well. It'll always be impossible to try and please everyone. Just make sure that you enjoy what you're doing. But yeah, I believe it's going to be a similar case on drums, that you don't go to a teacher and say, right, teach me a signature beat that I can do, because then that teacher would teach everybody the same beat and everyone will sound the same. And similar thing really with education, getting into music. Maybe studying music at college, university, or studying to hopefully become a session musician, all those kinds of things. It's almost like you can end up with having a conveyor belt of musicians who all have learned the same thing, whereas there's a totally different way of approaching things where you become an original musician, where you just do things your own way and you're not told the same thing. And that's exactly what would happen if a teacher was teaching either a guitarist or a drummer the same thing. Then you just have a conveyor belt of the same musician being produced, whereas it's all about artistry, originality, and just doing things your own way. But thank you for that, Jennifer. And Jennifer donated $6 again, so thank you for that. And the message is, if you ever saw Standing in the Shadows of Motown, Pistol Allen showed the difference between himself and the other three drummers. It was the intros. Okay, thank you for that. And that's just referencing that last question that we had. So thank you for that, Jennifer. And I think we're now up to date with the donations that came in through that super chat window before we went live. So thank you guys for those. And then Patrick was in there with a $5 donation just as we started and said, "Hola Phil, hope you are well. So what song stopped you dead in your tracks the first time you heard it?" So thank you for that, Patrick. And this is actually going to be quite a quick answer because Boston, More Than a Feeling. When I first heard that song, it pretty much instantly became my favourite song. You know, even though I'd heard a lot of songs up to that point in my life, I was probably, I don't know, maybe 8 or 9 years of age when I heard that. And that's when I first started, you know, raiding my dad's, record collection. So Boston was one of those that I put on. But, he had lots of Jimi Hendrix. I mean, we had Jimi Hendrix tapes where there were occasional, songs that weren't on albums. And it's interesting that now on YouTube, you can see the live performances, on video that I've heard on tape. I've said about my dad having lots of tapes that were just randomly put together that would have, live performance tracks, maybe one here, one there from like Jimi Hendrix and Gary Moore, and, lots of blues players that, just these random tapes, just mixtapes effectively of just a mix of artists. So I would listen to those, but there was Jimi Hendrix performing Johnny B. Good. And because I listened to that so much, I knew every single line of that live performance. And then, you fast forward about 25 years, and then I can actually see the performance that I know so well on YouTube. So, which is rare for Jimi Hendrix stuff because it always gets blocked straight away. And, his music, sadly, is not really that well known now, or at least not being played that much because of the copyrights and the estate just blocking everything being used or analysed or appreciated. So, that is a shame. But, it's just something that I am very frustrated with myself being a Jimi Hendrix fan. I know that the way that music has or is being consumed nowadays has changed massively from when I was a kid. We had vinyls, we had tapes, and tapes, as I've said, were the newer thing that were coming along, and it was space age at that time, actually having a Walkman. But having access to those songs, that's how you got it. Or you went to the record shop, the music shop, and you just looked at albums and you picked out what you wanted and you bought them, and then you'd have to travel to the music shop. Whereas nowadays, if a kid was going to accidentally hear some Jimi Hendrix, in the same way that I did it is from my dad, and I think that's pretty much how most people get into music or start to discover music, is hearing what their parents are listening to. And more often than not, whatever their parents are listening to, they don't like and go in the opposite direction. But for me, I just heard Jimi Hendrix and started to want to try and figure out what he was doing or what this noise was that I was hearing because I liked it. So the way that the younger generation are consuming music now is all online, and it's all through YouTube. That's the first place anyone goes to hear music. So if your music literally isn't on YouTube, then how's somebody going to accidentally hear a Jimi Hendrix song? Whereas all of the artists who aren't blocking their songs are getting loads of exposure to the younger generation, and the younger generation are hearing them because they're being, reacted to, or they're being analysed, they're being spread around YouTube so that people can hear these songs that they've never heard before. And this is something as well, not that I want to talk about this for too long, but the TV series Stranger Things that is based in the 80s, and they're having all of the old songs that are in there, and there's so many. It's great for me because I know all of those songs really well because it's just what my parents used to listen to all the time. But having Kate Bush in there, but having so many even like metal bands like Iron Maiden, Metallica, bands that you might not necessarily hear accidentally nowadays. It's great that a TV series has brought in, and obviously there's lots of other bands and music within that show that play in the background, But it's great to have a show that's set back in that time where, you know, the music was great, but it's now being heard inadvertently by the younger generation who are watching that TV show. So that is great. And this is the other thing, that all of the people watching the TV show, they're not saying, oh, I love the storyline of Stranger Things, but the music's rubbish. Nobody's saying that. So there always tends to be this, I don't know, this preconception and misconception that, yeah, all old music is rubbish or it's not as good as it is now and all these kinds of things. And actually vice versa, that a lot of people will say that back in the day the music was better than it is now. But it just goes to show that when you know, listen to it, and you know, you're listening without prejudice. That's the most important thing about the TV show, is you're listening to the music and you're not judging it because it's relevant to what you're watching. So it means that you accept the music for what it is, which is what art is all about. Music is art. So, you know, don't go in there with, you know, what's the word that I'm trying to say? It's not misconceptions, but is preconceptions the right? I've probably already said it. That's probably the right word. But don't go in there, you know, with any kind of bias. Just listen to it, accept it. You know, if you don't like it, then that's just fine, and if you like it, then that's just as fine. So yeah, it's great that that TV show has just broadened potentially the younger generation's appreciation of music, and yeah, just a good thing. I mean, just being set in that kind of time period in the 80s, I feel like I could probably be an extra on that series. So maybe for the next series, I could be in the background somewhere. And the great thing is, I'll take 0 time in makeup, because I don't have to put a wig on or anything or have any adjustments. I'm ready to go. So anyway, thank you for the donations, by the way. And yeah, I don't want to keep these answers going on for too long, but thank you, Patrick, for that, and Stardust Unicorn as well for the $1.49 donation, and support band to Wings of Pegasus. Stardust Unicorn has sent a picture of a unicorn, so thank you for that. And Patrick has donated $5 again. Thank you for that, Patrick. The message is: when I first heard Rainy Days and Monday by the Carpenters, Karen's voice stopped me cold. I had to find out what that was immediately. So again, thank you for that, Patrick. And I think that's probably a similar thing. I remember when I first heard Karen's voice, and yeah, it was just so different that, if anything, it had the same effect, or maybe the same effect for Patrick as Jimi Hendrix had for me. I just had to figure out, what is this noise that I'm hearing? And certainly with Karen's voice, yeah, you know, what is this voice? What is it doing? And you don't necessarily appreciate until a lot later on, and you get into music, that it's all about her range, her resonance at the bottom end of her voice, and just realizing that she was just singing a lot lower than you almost become used to the female voice being so much higher. So when you hear something that's so rich in tone, lower down pitch wise, it's kind of, you know, takes you by surprise, but then the quality of it takes you by surprise as well. But thank you for that. And Stardust Unicorn has donated $1.49 again, and this time sends a rainbow. So thank you for that. So let's have actually my camera tonight. I mean, sometimes it makes everything really dark, but sometimes, as in tonight, I can see that the lighting is actually fine, so that maybe, I always say about my shirts, aren't jet black. They're a little bit faded because of the washing that I do. I probably don't wash them correctly, but it looks like on the screen the lighting's actually better tonight. So it's totally random. I don't know why sometimes the contrast is like really overdone, but it's all good for tonight. If only it stayed like that for the analysis videos. We will see. Right, let me just jump over to the donations in the PayPal window, because we had some of these that came through between live streams. So I just want to address those. We had one that came through from Amy, and this was for £5. So thank you for that, Amy. And let me just see when that was. That was at 51 minutes past 11 on Wednesday morning. So thank you for that. Nicole donated £28.22. Thank you for that. And the message was, hello, have a nice day of summer, Phil. Fondly from France. So thank you for that. And let me get to the next one. It's Steve who donated £5. Thank you for that, Steve. And that was earlier this afternoon, 9 minutes past 4. And the message is, how does public awareness / enthusiasm compare between the Open and Wimbledon? So, sporting question here. The Open, which I've managed to catch a little bit of. I'm generally just watching the highlights at night because it's a lot easier than watching, I think some of the rounds they were saying were taking 5 hours to get round the course. And yeah, I mean, I don't think I've had a round that ever took that long for me personally. But then again, I mean, sometimes when you're playing on public courses, you can get stuck behind people and you just think, what are these people doing in front? They're sometimes kind of just hitting all turf and not actually hitting the ball. And then, it's going to be a very long round. But yes, with Wimbledon, that's very much something that is part of the calendar here. And everybody looks out for it. Everybody watches it. And it's pretty much on the BBC, it's on BBC One and BBC Two, so it means that all you can see on those two channels, and the terrestrial channels here, there's only 5 of them, so it means that, BBC One and Two is just tennis pretty much all day until 9, and then you have the highlights of the tennis, so it's a really big thing, and you can just watch tennis all day if you want to. But with the Open, that is just on one channel, and I think they only show it bit by bit. I think you'd have to watch it on Sky if you want to watch the whole thing. So yeah, the Open and golf isn't as widely covered in the mainstream here in the UK, just on TV channels that we get for free and automatically. But then on Sky, if you have that with a dish outside your house, then you can get it on Sky Sports and you can watch the Open all day there if you want to. So yeah, definitely Wimbledon is a lot more covered, and I'd say a lot more popular than the Open. But I mean, I occasionally try and watch golf if I can, kind of just the big tournaments. And generally, I mean, like the Open is one of those historic ones, so it's always good to watch those, or watch that particular event. But I also watch the Masters. That's, I think, the other main one that I will watch, and pretty much try and watch as much of it as I can. But I tend to kind of catch the highlights and maybe just keep up to date with it and watch maybe the end, the last day as much as I can to see who's where. But yeah, I saw that Rory McIlroy was doing quite well earlier. I think it was maybe just 1 or 2 off the lead, but I'm going to watch the highlights maybe tonight if I can find it, because I know that I haven't recorded it, so I'm going to have to find it on on catch up, on demand, all that kind of stuff, which hopefully it will be on, but I'll get caught up. And yeah, this is it. So I'll watch it tonight, so nobody tell me who scored what. That's one thing that is annoying sometimes when you're on the internet, and sometimes when I'm setting up the live stream, what I usually do is record the highlights for the soccer, the football as we call it here in the UK, and we have the Women's Euros at the moment, and that's a competition that's being held here in the UK, and I've been trying to keep up with the England matches with that, because our female team have got into, I think, the quarterfinals, so it means that we've got past the group stage. So yeah, I'm trying to keep up to date with that as well. But yeah, it's great that we get quite a lot of sport here on TV, but it's great that we've got the women's football, and that's being shown on BBC as well, both games of each group, and I think this is the first time probably that's happened. So the women's football is really starting to become even more popular, which is great, because I think it's just great to watch the female football as well as the men, because I know that the female game doesn't get a lot of coverage, or at least hasn't got up until pretty much now, because now female footballers can do it full time, but it's not the mainstream that every single female team, and even the countries. I know that Northern Ireland have only just been allowed to do it professionally for 6 months leading up to the tournament, and of course they're trying to catch up with all the other countries who are doing it full time. So they were in England's group, but they did they went out in the group, but they did really well considering that they've only really been allowed to practice full time for 6 months. So really interesting, to watch them play. So anyway, thank you, Steve, for that. A bit of a sporting question. And let me now just move up because Tammy has donated £10 as well. Thank you for that, Tammy. And the message is, hi, Phil. What is / was your biggest challenge in your music career? With a smiley face. I don't think there's just one thing. I think it's just everything, because when you're trying to do something that's original and you're trying to record your own songs and release your own album, pretty much everything is a challenge. You've got to learn to do everything from, playing the instruments to begin with, being able to sing, being able to record, produce, mix, edit videos, record videos, lighting, all these different things. It's just like pretty much a lifetime course in learning how to do things so that you can effectively be a record label and do everything yourself. So I'd say that everything is a challenge, but I do like to have a challenge and just try and learn to do more things. So whether that be from learning the guitar when I was 11 to now kind of doing these live streams and learning how to use the streaming software, knowing how to pop things up on screen and get all these kinds of things organized, like being able to pop up my website and all that kind of stuff, and Patreon. So all of these things that you have to do, you have to just spend time learning, and that's it. And so I think the biggest challenge is probably getting all of the skills that you need to be a full-time musician and be independent with it, because you are doing the job of everybody that a record label employs. Whether that be marketing, the producers, image consultants, nowadays record labels have everything, transport, organising gigs, all of these different things that, when you're independent, you have to do this all yourself. So I'd say that everything's a challenge, but I think that anything is possible if you just stick at it. And I think more often than not, the hardest thing for most people is just sticking at it for long enough to then make it a success, especially with original music, because it means that you're having to work during the day to then save up enough money to gig in the evening, or just saving your money up to buy equipment to then record. And of course, the time that you have off from your job is the only time you've got available to now try and focus on your music and to try and get your career going. So it is a bit hardcore when you're working and then you have to spend your time off. I know that a lot of people just want to relax once they've finished work, but I think if you've got the drive to do something, then you'll spend pretty much as much time as possible just trying to get to that goal and having that drive to succeed. And I think that's something that you can't really learn to do. It's just something that you have. It's just, it's having that persistence to plug my album title, but it's definitely just about that. Just keep believing in yourself and you will get there in the end. But thank you, Tammy, for that. Right, I think we are pretty much getting up to date now with the donations. Let me just click on this one because Karen donated £4 and 4 pence. So thank you for that, Karen. And let me get this on screen because I think we're getting a little bit closer. I think this is about 10 minutes before we started the live stream. Karen says, hi Phil, John Lennon said, life is what happens when you're busy making other plans. When I read your life happenings on Patreon, I feel like I can relate in ways and that I'm not the odd one out. Thanks for all you do and for being you. Cheers, Karen. So thank you for that, Karen. I think everybody has a bad day at some point, and yes, sometimes it can just be the case that everything gets rolled into one 48-hour period, but it's probably good just to get it all out of the way at once, and then hopefully the rest of the year will be fine. Well, certainly with my car, that was its first year service, and as I said over on Patreon, I took my car for its service, and I don't drive a lot because I'm mostly at home, as you guys know, live streaming, doing analysis videos. So it means that I don't go out very much. I think I did 1,800 miles in a year. So yeah, I don't know what that is a day, but it's not very much at all. I think most of that was actually just probably going to London a couple of times. But yeah, just going to the shops, little things like that. Anyway, I keep my car really clean and everything was fine. And it's still got the new smell because it's only a year old. So I'm really careful with it. And I took it in for its year service. And then on the way home, I had a warning light that came on. So whatever they did with its service, they managed to somehow break a part of the car. So that was the other thing. And I had to pay £100 for that service for them to break something that wasn't broken when I dropped it off. So yeah, that was the great thing about having your car serviced, and it's something that you have to do by law every year, but I feel like I would rather just not take it to them. And this was Vauxhall, by the way. It's a Vauxhall Corsa, so it's the actual people who make the car. I'd rather just not take it to them and say, look, I don't use the car much, so just leave it to me to keep it in order. And when there's a problem with it, then I will take it to you. I don't want it to take it to you when everything's fine and it's running fantastically well, and then I get the car back from you and now there's something wrong with it. So yes, that's what was going on Thursday. But as I said, everybody has a bad day now and again. It's just a bit of a pain that you're supposed to be giving it to them for them to improve it. If anything, same thing with app updates where they update an app and then it doesn't work like it did before. Yeah, so I think it's just the world over. Unfortunately, things that get updated and are improved actually make it worse. So anyway, thank you for that, Karen. I'm just going to scroll up because I think we had another donation, and let me just get this a little bit more centralized. And the message is from Diana. Let me scroll down. It's for £4, and the message is, thank you for that, Diana. The message is, howdy Phil and all y'all wingers. What is a movie musical performance that just made you cringe? Either bad acting, bad faux air instrument playing, or even bad lip syncing. So thank you for that, Diana. And I haven't seen this movie, but Mamma Mia is all I've seen from that movie, I think, was Pierce Brosnan singing or pretending to sing. And I think they used his own voice, or they tried to use his voice. I think Meryl Streep was in that as well. And this is the thing that they do nowadays, because auto-tune exists. It's hilarious because actors who can't sing, but they want to be artists, but actors, acting, I suppose you could call an art form, but what I'm talking about is singing and being, an artist, a musical artist. Actors who can't sing very well get auto-tuned, and then when they're interviewed about a particular movie that they might have been singing on, they say, oh, and is that your real voice? And of course they say, oh yeah, this is me singing. But they don't say, this is me attempting to sing, but then it's been put through auto-tune. And if you heard the original of me singing, it would sound absolutely awful. But now there are actors who are claiming that they can sing, but they can't really. They can't hit pitches accurately. They're being auto-tuned so that in the movie, it just sounds really dodgy. When you can hear auto-tune, it just, makes a mockery of the human voice, especially in those kinds of movies. I'm not sure when that was made, but it's not really recent, so it means that it wasn't something that might be, subtly pitch corrected or done in a little bit more of a tasteful way. It was just, hammered through auto-tune. So that's one that immediately popped to mind, just purely because I haven't even seen the movie, and I don't think it's one of those movies that I would watch because of the application of auto-tune. But yeah, I don't know whether it's my kind of movie. I'm into kind of 80s movies and maybe thriller, movies and action based kind of stuff, so not particularly. I mean, there's a few musicals that I've seen, but those that, you know, like Mamma Mia, I haven't seen. I think probably just because of the press, the coverage that it got because of the singing and the auto-tune, the way that they applied it. But anyway, thank you for that, Diana. And just going to scroll up because I'm sure there are other movies that have applied auto-tune, but yeah, I don't really keep up to date with them. Thank you, Karen, as well, who has donated £40 and 43 pence. A very kind donation there from Karen. So thank you for that. And that's a straight up donation. And Diana has donated £4 again. Thank you for that, Diana. And the message is, "Highers again, Phil. Have you ever participated in karaoke? If so, what is your go-to song? If not, and you've only watched it, what's the song you wish people would not choose to sing? Laugh out loud. Mine is I Will Always Love You. Please don't choose that one, y'all. Rock." So thank you for that, Diana. And I can't remember ever doing karaoke. It's not something that here in the UK is a regular thing, that you go out and everyone's got a karaoke machine, or a venue's got a karaoke machine. So yeah, it's not something that I've ever done. If people are doing karaoke, I'd say that the main songs that people will trip up on, especially guys, is going to be, yeah, well, Sweet Child of Mine. I know that a lot of people or guys try and sing that, but I think the problem is that guys don't realise how high a lot of these, you know, hard rock songs are, because they're pretty much all in and around that A4 in chest voice as well. So they generally either try to reach the notes and then can't reach them, or have to sing it an octave below, which, yeah, it's just going to make it sound really dodgy. So yeah, pretty much loads of Bon Jovi. I know that loads of people try and sing Bon Jovi songs, and I mean, they're great as well for karaoke, I'm sure, but exactly the same thing will happen, that guys trying to sing it will not be able to reach the notes, or they'll be having to just bail out with the octave under. So yeah, these hard rock songs are a lot harder than people realise. So I'd say pretty much for karaoke, if you're a guy, probably staying away from, yeah, Bon Jovi, and I mean pretty much any kind of Guns N' Roses, but just stay away from the 80s probably, because most of those songs, even I'd say the pop rock songs, you know, I Just Died in Your Arms Tonight. I mean, that's still one of those songs that is still, you know, pushing that male tenor range. You know, you've probably got G4s in there. I have covered that song, so I know that it's relatively high all the time. It's just the consistency of keeping your voice up at that kind of level that takes a lot of practice. So anyway, yeah, just stay away from the 80s hits, especially the hard rock songs. But anyway, thank you for that, Diana. And I'm just going to scroll up because Susan has donated £10. Thank you for that, Susan. And the message is, finally catch you on live stream instead of Ketchup Crew. Best place on the internet. Cheers. So thank you for that, Susan. Good to see you in the live stream. I'm just going to scroll up because Carla has donated £6 as well. So thank you for that, Carla. And I feel like I might have missed a donation somewhere, but I will check it maybe when we get into the cover video. And it's almost 10 to 1 already, so we are going to have to get our skates on. I can see there have been some other donations, so thank you for this, Carla. It's a £6 donation, and it's just a straight up donation, so thank you for that. And Jill has donated £2 and 43 pence. Thank you for that, Jill. And the message is, Burton Cummings from the Guess Who singing Stand Tall made me stop and really listen. He has a great rock voice, so thank you for that, Jill. And just going to scroll up because Kelly has donated $10 as well, and that's Canadian dollars, I think. So thank you for that, Kelly, and that is a straight up donation. And Lauren has donated £50. So thank you for that, Lauren. Just going to scroll down because the message is, first time I've seen my sister since the start of the pandemic. I wanted to spread the joy, spike the likes with a thumbs up. So thank you for that donation, Lauren. And yeah, it's great. And I mean, pretty much now I'd say Things are back to normal. I know that a lot of people are still wearing masks now and again, depending on the setting, whether they're going into shops that might be a bit smaller. And I know that, yeah, COVID is still out there, but people are still being relatively sensible, so it's great that we're almost pretty much back to normal here. I know that in the UK you can just go into shops and you don't have to wear a mask, it is optional. So yeah, thankfully, fingers crossed, things are going to remain a little bit more normal than it has been, especially with getting to see people. If you are traveling maybe to different countries, things are now becoming possible to travel to other countries, because I know that you had to take tests and then have proof of having a negative test, for a certain amount of days before you left, and then you're tested when you arrived. That used to be the case, but I think here in the UK, everything is now back to normal. Anybody can, arrive and you don't have to have tests. So, yeah, great that everything's going back to normal, but thank you for that, Lauren. And Kimberly has donated £5, so thank you for that, Kim. And this is a long message, so I'll do my best to read this out. Hi Phil, I love two songs first time I heard them. One, You Could Have Been a Lady by April Wine, a Canadian band from Halifax, NS, and I don't know what that is in Canada. Yeah, that's not ringing any bells, but sometimes the states in the USA, I don't think I know all of them, but sometimes it just triggers a place name in the back of my mind. But yeah, I'm not sure what that is. And two, Sweet Hitchhiker by CCR, Creedence Clearwater Revival. Up till then, I'd only heard country music, and that's what my parents listened to. I was so pleased that there was something better out there. Of course, better is subjective, but I know what you mean, and I became an instant fan of both bands. Same reaction to Boston too. Do you like to travel? And if so, what's a favourite place you've visited? So thank you for that, Kim. And I don't travel too much, so I mean, I don't really holiday too much. I have been to Brazil a couple of times, which was cool. I mean, it wasn't cool. It was actually very hot all the time, but it was cool to go to a different country where, it's usually quite cool here in the UK and it's always raining and cloudy, so it was good to go to a place that was pretty much hot all the time, even though it's hot here in the UK. And maybe this is a global warming thing that is now always going to be hot during the summer here in the UK, but I certainly had many years when you'd have the whole year and you didn't really have a summer anywhere. So yeah, so that was good. But other than that, just as a kid, going to Florida and going to Disney World, I enjoyed that. But I wouldn't say that I'm a traveller in that I like to, go out and explore different countries. I know that people like to just literally go off travelling and just see different countries, whereas I'm not really, into that particularly. I'm just quite happy with just seeing my immediate surroundings and just enjoying life where I am. I know that for some people it's like an itch that they need to scratch. They've got to go out and just explore, but for me I don't really have that inclination to really want to get out there and explore too much. So yeah, even though traveling's fun, it's good, and it's a good experience to fly to places, going to the airport and all that kind of stuff. Going on holiday is great because it always reminds me of being a kid when we could holiday. This is something that I think is probably, it depends on your income, but probably a regular thing here in the UK, that my holiday used to be going to Dorset and Bournemouth, which is on the south coast of England. So it's like a maybe 3 or 4 hour drive, and we'd put everything in the car, all of your spade and bucket for the beach and all that kind of stuff, even though the beach was mostly stones. But you take everything in the car, jam pack it, and then as a family, my mum, dad, sister and I drove to Dorset. And then sometimes it would be raining, so it means that your 2-week holiday was just spent sitting in the house, not able to get out there. But occasionally it was sunny, so then you could go to the beach. And obviously the water in England is very cold indeed, so swimming in the sea was a unique experience, but you know, that was most of my memories from a young age were going to Dorset, going to Bournemouth, and then when I was a little bit older, maybe getting into my teenage years, or maybe when I was 11 or 12, we went to Florida, which was just amazing because that blew my mind, going to Disney World as well. So yeah, that's great. Anyway, thank you for that, Kim. And I'm just going to scroll up because Rebecca has donated £6. Thank you for that, Rebecca. And there's a message with this as well that says £6 for the 6 months since I broke my arm. I am recovered, fully functional and playing piano. Also, congratulations on your recovery and return to guitar. So thank you for that, Rebecca. And 6 months, that's actually quite a long recovery for a broken arm. And yeah, at the moment, mine's getting on to 7 or 8 months, and I'm not fully recovered yet. So I can play guitar, but I still haven't got kind of full range of motion. It's something that I think is going to take a little bit longer, and I think it's probably going to be, it feels like maybe 12 months it will take to get back to normal before I can get back to exercising and getting back to just doing any kind of resistance training or that kind of stuff, which I really want to get back into, but I know that I've got to just stop and you just let my body just waste away to pretty much nothing, and then I can get back into exercising a little bit later on. But I will say that the amount of muscle mass that I used to have, and considering that I've done nothing for like 8 months, I think that I'm still maintaining a little bit of muscle mass, which is probably quite bad for my tendons, because the less toned the muscle is, the less tension on the tendon, and therefore theoretically the faster it will heal. But at the moment, I'm just trying to not do any movement at all, any resistance. I'm just trying to get full range of motion back. But it's going to take another probably, I'd say maybe 4 months, because I know it just takes so long to recover. It's just, I'm just keeping on doing the exercises that I do every day, which I have been doing for probably since I think January. So January through March, May, June, July. So about 6 or 7 months of doing that physio every single day. But I will get there. But great to hear that everything's back to normal for you, Rebecca. So we are going to be jumping into tonight's cover video. Let's have a look at that vote. And it says 50% wanted dead or alive. So let's end the poll and see if we get clarification for which cover we're going to be looking at. Oh, by the way, spike the lights, hit that thumbs up, guys. If you haven't hit that thumbs up, we'd massively appreciated. We're aiming for 405, which is a crazy total, I know, but we are at 364 so far. So we might be able to get a little spike of the lights going on. If you haven't hit that thumbs up, then it would be massively appreciated if you could use your thumbs up token, and we might be able to get that likeometer to just jump up a little bit on the right hand side of your screens. We'll keep an eye on that as we get into tonight's cover video, which I can see is wanted dead or alive, and this must have been a points, like 50 point something percent, because it does say 50% wanted dead or alive, 49 for Iris. So a very close vote for tonight, but thank you guys for voting for this. Hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you guys after rock.
Seems like we're wasting away. Another place where the faces are so cold. I drive all night just to get back home, 'cause I'm a cowboy on this steel horse I ride. Wanted dead or alive. Sometimes I sleep, sometimes it's not for days. The people I meet always go their own separate ways. Sometimes you tell the day by the bottle that you drink. Times when you're alone, when all you do is think. 'Cause I'm a cowboy on this steel horse I ride, wanted, dead or alive. I want these streets, a loaded six-string on my back. I play for keeps, 'cause I might not make it back. I've been everywhere, and still I'm standing tall. I've seen a million faces, and I've rocked them all. 'Cause I'm a cowboy on this steel horse I ride, wanted, dead or alive, wanted, dead or alive, wanted, dead or
And there we have it. That was my version of Wanted Dead or Alive by Bon Jovi. So thank you guys for voting for that cover tonight, and you guys over on Patreon for requesting a couple, or more than a couple, but just a few that I can choose between. So let's get rid of this adverts notification again. It's saying, oh, now's a great time to put in an advert on your live stream. So that's something I have never done before, and I haven't done it yet. Maybe I should do it just to see which advert comes up, because interestingly, on the auto-tune videos, I think a lot of people get adverts for auto-tune, even though the video is showing how auto-tune is really affecting the voice in a negative way. So it's interesting how that happens sometimes. But let's get into some pictures, because we have the pick roulette to come up as well. Right, let me get the background up on screen, and let me navigate to where I need to go to grab these two pictures. I think tonight we have, first of all, Michael, who has his signed Wings of Pegasus pick, and a picture of some guy. So a picture of some guy holding a guitar, and we have Michael next to the picture. So thank you for uploading that one, Michael. And we have Sandra here as well, who is modelling the Wings of Pegasus t-shirt. So thank you, Sandra, for uploading that one. And thank you, Vince, for linking me to these two pictures for tonight. And those are the pictures. We will dive into tonight's pick roulette, maybe. And I know that some people said, when I was talking about the Moises app subscription thing, that I've got some of those to give away, that some people said if I pick a name from the roulette wheel, some of the names, some people have been really lucky and won 2 picks. They aren't on the roulette wheel anymore, but they are on the t-shirt wheel. So what I might do is, if we don't land on the t-shirt wheel, we might go to that anyway and spin it and see who we land on, considering what I might do is just double check that all of the names that are on the pick roulette wheel are going to be on the t-shirt roulette wheel as well. So maybe if I can get clarification of that from Carla to know that if that's the best wheel to spin to have the Moises subscription winners from the t-shirt wheel, then that would be good. But I'll keep my eye on the live chat room for that, if Carla can let me know. Big shout out to the moderators, by the way, for doing such a great job. Their names are in blue in that live chat room, but they've been just working away throughout this live stream and every other live stream. So thank you guys for your time and your efficiency in that live chat room. Right, let's get, and Susan and Dennis just going through there. Thank you guys, and thanks to Laurie, Neil and Carla. Let's jump into tonight's pick roulette. Good luck everybody, and just having a quick look to see if anybody is sacrificing themselves as a top tip, but we haven't, so I'm going to be choosing somebody at random. But let's jump into Saturday night's pick roulette. I'll see you guys in a second. Rock! So let's get the roulette wheel up on screen, and there it is. If this is your first pick roulette, you can see here the darker segments are the t-shirts. If we land on one of those, then we go to the t-shirt roulette wheel and somebody wins a custom made signed Wings of Pegasus t-shirt. And if we land on a name, then we are going to be giving away the Wings of Pegasus pick that is signed, and this is the only way that you can get hold of a signed pick. And let me have a little look on the wheel. Let me pick somebody at random. We're going to have Metal Cubana. So let me make a note of that, and apologies for picking you. And write it down. Right, so let's give the wheel a spin and see who is going to win tonight. Maybe this could be the first time we will see Metal Cubana. I don't even know if I'm saying that correctly, but bandana, I know what one of those is. But thank you everybody for entering this, by the way, because I mean it's thank you to Carla as well for organising the pick roulette. But we are slowing down, ladies and gentlemen. Where are we gonna land? And it looks like I'm going to maintain my 0% winning record of the top tip being picked. It might be Kimberly, and it is Kimberly who has won the signed Wings of Pegasus pick for tonight's pick roulette. So congratulations to you. If you can let yourself be known to Carla in that live chat room, that would be much appreciated. And as I always say, you have to be in it to win it. So if you aren't in that live chat room when your name comes up, then unfortunately you're not in it to win it. But we'll be looking out for Kimberly's name in there. Commiserations to everybody else who is, not winning, especially when I choose their name. But everybody who's on the wheel and hasn't won tonight. And yes, even if Carla's not in the live chat room tonight, it means that if you can let yourself be known to Carla, because when Carla checks it later on, if you tag her name in your comment, it means that she can still organise everything with you. So Kimberly, if you can do that, type at Carla Murray in order to tag Carla's name, because then it's just a lot easier for her to see, and that's how things get organised with the pick roulette. But also for the entries, which will be happening, and it looks like we have hit the goal for the likes tonight. So thank you everyone for hitting that thumbs up. We've reached that ridiculous goal of 405, which is crazy that we've even got that amount. So yes, thank you everyone for hitting that thumbs up. Let me just get everything back to normal on screen, because I can say that the entries for next week's pick roulette are open. So when I'm talking about tagging Carla's name or Carla's account or username in the, and let me just type it with a capital C for Carla, and then capital M for Murray, and then type I agree, like that. So what we want to do is look out for the post that I've just done in that comment section. You'll see it going through. I've typed at Carla Murray and I've tagged her there, and there it goes. And I've typed I agree. So that's what you guys have to do in order to get your name on the pick roulette wheel for next week, because we will be having one. Of course, all the names on the pick roulette wheel for tonight that we've just seen, they entered last week. This is how it works. It's always for the next week. So everybody, if this is your first live stream and you don't know what's going on, just copy what everyone else is doing here, and then when you tune in next week, you'll see your name on that wheel, and you could be going away with a Wings of Pegasus signed pick, the t-shirt, and maybe next time we can give a a spin of the t-shirt roulette wheel for the Moises app, premium 1 year subscription thing that we will be giving away very soon. I just want to make sure that everybody is going to be available to win that, because I don't want some people to be missing out on that. So we might do that next time. So yes, copy what everybody else is doing here. Right, 9 minutes past 1 here, so things are moving on very quickly. By the way, I missed Lynn's donation of £123.45, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a little bit earlier on. So thank you, Lynn, for that. I thought that I'd skipped over an email by accident, and this message was hazard pay for the terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. So thank you for that, Lynn. Right, let me just get everything back to being organised, which we are now. And I'm just going to jump into that super chat window because Jennifer, I'm just making sure that this is a new donation after Stardust Unicorn. Jennifer donated $5. Thank you again for that, Jennifer. And the message is, the Beatles' second LP was mine. So loved George's guitar and Ringo's drumming. Sadly, I can't play either one. Thank you for that, Jennifer. And this is referring to the albums or songs that people heard that just took them by surprise, knocked them back, and that was Jennifer's. Thank you for this, Orlando, as well. $5 donation. The message is, I must head to work early. Catch up crew for me. Enjoy the live stream. So thank you for that, Orlando, and hello to you in the future, and everybody else watching on catch up in the future, part of that catch up crew. You can still hit that thumbs up. It really does help this live stream to get out there and for the channel to grow on the whole. So thank you, Karen, as well, who donated $5 and said, hi Phil, Chippet enjoyed your Bon Jovi cover. He was calmly watching. By the way, you don't lull him to sleep. Chips loves listening to you. Cheers, Karen. So thank you for that, Karen. Right, I think we are pretty much ready for maybe a riff of the week. Let me just check over on Patreon to see if we did have one requested, and I can see straight away that there has been a request or two for riff of the week, so thank you guys for that. And let me try and see where I'm going to type this in. I think that's all okay. Let me now just throw this out there to you guys. If you can give me a number between 1 and 100, then that will give us the riff of the week for tonight. And as you do that, I'm going to check the updated list that I've been sent by Laura. Laura, thank you for sending me that, by the way. But I'm just clicking on the attachment so that it can open. And here we go. I have the list available to me on the left-hand side. So let me have a look into that live chat room. And we have Jill, who says 62, 14. And we're getting some numbers going through quickly here. So let's pick one out at random. We have 68 going through. Let me just have a little look if we haven't had 68 yet. That might be a good one. What about 88? And no, we've had 88 recently. So what was it? Was it 68 the one? I'm going to put a little mark on that square. I think 68. I can see that right at the bottom of the list that Shirley says 68 as well. Let's have a go at number 68 for the riff of the week. 68. Let's do that. Click on it. And hopefully this works. And if I can stop it from auto playing. And I have done that successfully. And I don't think there's going to be an advert, which is good. Let's grab the screen so that now, hopefully, it should appear under here. Okay, right. Riff of the week. Let's see. I can just see that a donation's gone through. $5 from Grump, Texas, who has said, donated $5. Thank you for that. And said, all this time watching. And I learn rules just now. So thank you for that. Yeah, there are, as I say with the live streams, that you have to be in it to win it. You have to be there in the live chat room when your name pops up, but also that you can double your chances of winning by joining in with both of the live streams. We live stream on a Tuesday, we live stream on a Saturday as well, and that's 12 midnight British summertime. But let's get into this thing that's up on screen, and we're looking to name the riff here. So hopefully I can remember what it is to then say who's done it correctly, but let's have a little listen and see what happens. It's going to be easy. And there we have it with a little end run just to finish things off. So let me get this off the screen now, because I'm looking on the screen to see that live chat room to see. I haven't seen any guesses yet. And I'm still looking. I haven't seen a correct answer yet. And Lagrange. There we have it. ZZ Top. I know. There we have it. Yeah. So, who said that first? Let me just go up. Okay, was that Orlando that got it first? It sometimes goes through a little bit quickly so that I can't see it very quickly. And yes, it was Orlando. And I was just expecting, lots of ZZ Tops to go through, but it is Riff of the Week. So Orlando has got that. Let me see if we get the name of the riff. Jesse got it as well. Just going through. Paul got it as well. So congratulations to you. And I'm going down. Oh, I can see that Jack, a little bit further down, has got that as well. So yeah, congratulations to everybody that got it. I'm just having a little look on the list to see. I think a lot of people know. I think just the vibe of the riff, you just know it's ZZ Top. But yeah, getting the name of the riff is what we're looking for, which Orlando did first. But just anybody that gets it, congratulations to you for guessing it. So yeah, great stuff. It can't be a bit of ZZ Top. And yeah, one of those, I would say, moderately easy. I think some people maybe just go with the ZZ Top and don't know the actual name of the song, because that's what we're going to be calling out, of course, for the riff of the week. But thank you guys for asking for a riff of the week. It's always good to have one of those at the end, and for you guys to try and pick out some of these riffs. There are 100 of them, and I mean, we've still got a lot of ones that we haven't looked at yet, so we will be getting through those in future live streams. But thank you guys for joining me on tonight's live stream and for hitting that thumbs up, for getting us to 430 likes, which is insane, but a great number. Thank you guys. It is massively appreciated. It really does help the channel, just for these live streams as well, to get seen by a few more people, maybe get a few more people in that live chat room. And this is the thing, that during these live streams, if it is your first live stream, just say hello, introduce yourself in that live chat room, because that's how we all start out. So thank you guys as well for the very kind donations that come through in the super chat window, but also that PayPal window, because it really does make a difference. But as I always say, you don't have to donate. It's just if you can't resist, if you feel like you have the need to and you really want to donate, then it is fine. But just spending time on the channel is fantastic. Checking out the analysis videos is great as well. So it's also great for me to interact with you guys in a live setting, because I know that in the analysis videos, it's just me checking the comment section, and I do check every single comment and mark them as I go through. But it is cool to have this live interaction with you guys, and I can see you guys all the time in that live chat room. So a big thank you to you. We are going to be calling things to a close. We're going to be having a video tomorrow night, which I'm not sure what kind of video that's going to be. Generally, I either look through analysis videos that might have been blocked, that have been removed, and then try and re-upload those, or maybe other videos that I've done in the past that might be, for example, cover videos that aren't public, because I know that I've got quite a few of those that are over on Patreon, and pretty much for the live streams, any cover that is requested, I will play them on the live streams. But I know that all of the covers that I've done in the past aren't publicly viewable, so it means that not everybody can see them. So I do now and again tend to just free up one so that everybody can see it. So that might be the case for tomorrow night, but I'm going to be looking at doing a video or releasing a video that's a little bit lighter on me work-wise, or at least, yeah, something easier, rather than doing another analysis video that might take 8 to 12 hours, because I'm still catching up on everything from Thursday. As I said, yeah, Wednesday and Thursday was a 48-hour day for me, so I'm still kind of catching up with everything. I'll use Sunday and probably, yeah, Monday's admin just to the whole day, the admin day, to really catch up with everything. But there'll be another, just make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell, because there will be a video tomorrow night, and I'll be back with you guys on a live stream on Tuesday night, and then analysis videos will resume on Wednesday night as well. So thank you as well to Roback, who has donated $5 in that super chat window. Yeah, big thank you to the moderators for tonight as well. Thank you for those very kind donations, and I will be seeing you again tomorrow night, but on Tuesday night, and then for the analysis video on Wednesday night as well. So everybody stay safe and as sane as possible in the modern day world, and have a great morning, afternoon, evening, whatever it is where you are, and I'll catch you guys at the next one. Rock!